Hi everybody. I'm sitting on my front porch with Jill, my dog, and it's a nice day, very warm outside, and lots of people are working outside in my neighborhood, repairing things. There might be some cars driving down the street while I'm talking to you. You'll hear the cars passing by. But I think I'm ready to read you the story. Today's story is called Niccolini's Song. It's a story about friendship and about being kind, about being a good friend. A good friend is someone who listens and takes care of others, wants to make sure that they can help out when others need their help. That's just what Niccolini is about. He knows how to be a good friend. He's a quiet man, but a very nice man, and he likes to help. So let's get going. The story is a little bit unusual because Niccolini, you'll see that you have to use your imagination with this story, because he makes friends with the trains and even communicates to the trains. So let's get going with the story. Okay. Put my glasses on. Great. A long time ago, before there were space shuttles or superhighways or even jumbo jets, there were trains. Well, we still have trains even now. The train engines would be working all day, taking things to and fro from city to city, but at night they would stay in the train yards where they rested and got themselves ready for the next day's work. The train yards were overlooked by a watchman. Niccolini was such a watchman. And there is you can see it's getting dark. All the trains are resting in the train yard. Most of the story really happens at night because that's when the watchmen are out in the train yard. Niccolini would walk around in the train yard holding his lantern and also holding his special whistle. If he found some danger or heard things that sounded like danger, he would blow his whistle so that he could get extra help. Tonight, he walked around looking at all the trains and making sure all was safe for the night. As he walked around, he thought he heard something. Footsteps. He wasn't sure. Was someone in the train yard? He looked around but didn't see anything. Niccolini looked further. He could still hear the footsteps now and again. He was kind of scared because he didn't want to find any trouble. He had never had anything in the train yard before that was trying to do harm to the trains. He walked and walked. Then again he heard those footsteps. What could it possibly be? He lifted his lantern to see. He was hoping it wasn't anything to hurt the trains or him. Oh, he finally saw what it was. It was some raccoons who had wandered into the train yard. Oh, Niccolini was so relieved. No one there to hurt anything. It was just those raccoons. Niccolini sat down, took a deep sigh, and tried to relax. That had been kind of scary. All of a sudden, as he was sitting there, he heard a voice. "Are they still there?" asked the voice. Niccolini couldn't imagine what or who is talking to me. He sat very quietly, waiting. Then the voice came again. "I hope that they're not going to keep on bothering me tonight." See the raccoons, and Niccolini's wondering, I wonder what that voice could be. Finally, Niccolini looked up, looked around. He still couldn't see anybody talking to him. Please, please, no more noise. I need to sleep. I've been working hard all day, pulling boxcars many miles, and tomorrow I have to work again, and I have to take 32 boxcars all the way to Winnetka. That's a long way, so I need my sleep. Oh, Niccolini looked up, and then he realized it was the train that was talking to him. He listened. Train had another deep sigh and said, Niccolini, I've heard you sing sometimes when you walk around in the train yard. I'm wondering if you would sing me a song that would help me relax and sleep so I could do my work tomorrow. Would you do that for me? Of course, said Niccolini. Anything to help you get a good night's sleep. Just relax. Let me pat your back. That might help you to feel more relaxed. And then I'll sing my song. I have a wonderful lullaby I can sing to you. It's the lullaby my mother would sing to me when I was a little boy. So Niccolini put his hand on the cold steel of the engine. He patted the steel back and forth. Slowly, slowly, he could feel the engine start to relax. Then he could tell by the breathing that everything was getting better and better. He started to sing. He slowly sang the lovely lullaby that his mother had sung to him when he was a little boy. It seemed to make the train very happy, and finally he could tell that the train had gone to sleep. The breathing was slow and even, and Niccolini kept patting the engine of the train. Just sleep now, he said to the train. You'll get a good night's sleep, and tomorrow you'll be able to do all of your work. After that night, many of the other trains started saying things to Niccolini. They all felt at times nervous or a little scared about all the work they had to do, and they would ask Niccolini to sing a lullaby to them or to do something special for them. Niccolini was always happy to help in any way possible for his trains because he knew that they had done hard work all during the day. So night after night, he would sing to the trains, and they would relax and sleep and do lots of good work the next day. One night, as Niccolini was singing, he heard some sounds outside of the train yard, beyond the fence that surrounded the train yard. He looked over, and he could see there was a mother with her baby walking back and forth right along the fence. The baby was fussing and crying, and the mother was saying, "Go to sleep now, go to sleep." But nothing seemed to help. And Niccolini decided he would sing his lullaby to the trains, and maybe that would help the baby. And guess what? It did. The baby went to sleep, the trains were asleep, the mother took that cranky baby home, and it was a wonderful night. Niccolini felt he had really helped the mother with her baby. Time passed, and people in the little town near the train yard talked about the fact that Niccolini's songs would help soothe babies in the night and young children. So more and more mothers would walk down to the train yard when their children had trouble sleeping. They would rock them back and forth, and they were told to listen to Niccolini's song. And both the trains and the babies would always get a good night's sleep. Then one night, there was a very strong wind that was blowing through the town. It blew and blew, and that strong wind was making lots of noise as the trees shook. Even the houses were shaking from the noise of that blowing wind. Mothers could not get their children to sleep. The whole town was restless. Even the adults had trouble sleeping that night. Finally, many of them walked down to the train yard, hoping that Niccolini would be able to help them sleep. They all gathered outside of the fence. You can see a picture of the town. Wonder what's going to happen. That night, there were so many babies and so many people and so many children who were crying and cranky along the fence line that even Niccolini's singing did not help them to relax. The noise went on and on, crying, yelling, being upset. So difficult for everybody. Niccolini didn't know what to do. He tried singing his songs, but there was so much noise people couldn't even hear the song. Niccolini just stood there, not knowing what to do next. And suddenly, one of the engines said, "Come over here, Niccolini." Niccolini went over to the big black engine. "What is it?" said Niccolini. And the engine bent down and whispered something to Niccolini. Niccolini smiled. "Oh, that's a good idea," he said. Wonder what he told him. What do you think he told him? Niccolini got a box. He stood up on the box. All the trains lined up. Niccolini started waving his arms, and all the trains started softly blowing their whistles. All together, like a great chorus, they were all singing that lullaby that Niccolini loved so much. As they all blew their whistles softly, Niccolini sang the lullaby. It was just enough sound so that all the babies, all the people heard it, and they stopped their crying, and they stopped fussing. They all relaxed and were able to sleep. The mothers and their babies, the fathers and the babies, everyone finally could go back up into the town because everyone was relaxed and asleep. Niccolini was so happy. The trains were happy too because they had helped. The whole town realized that Niccolini was a very special person to have in their town. He helped them every day. See the families going back up into the town. "Ah, what a nice day this was," said Niccolini. The trains all were happy too. "We like helping you," they said. Niccolini said, "I like having you help. Together, we could help the town." And they did. From then on, whenever kids had trouble sleeping, their parents would bring them to the train yard where Niccolini and the trains would lull them back to sleep. And here's Niccolini walking the way he always does at night as the watchman. Wow, I wonder what you thought of this story. It was a bit of a surprise to me when I was reading it the first time and the train started talking to him. That was a surprise. I didn't expect that to happen. I was even a little nervous at the beginning when he heard all that noise and the footsteps and he was wondering what was there. But it was just the raccoons. That was good. So it's a nice story about being a good friend, being kind, listening, helping. And think of it. Just that one person, Niccolini, made such a difference in that town. He helped everyone in the town. And the trains helped too. That's a good thing to keep in mind when you're trying to be a friend, is to listen and try and help out. It's always a good thing to do. Okay, well, I think that Jill and I are going to go in the house now and have our dinner. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.